Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at a very basic form. In this example, and I'll give you the code for it, is just a single HTML file called orderform.html. It calls, by hitting the submit button, it will call the response.php page. And then both of them link the PHP style.css page into them. All right, so if you look at the URL here, you'll see it's under DL Blair, fall 2018, exam BX1 underscore simple form, and then / order form.html. All right, this is it. So what we're going to do is simply use two fields, first name and last name. So if I put in Dave Blair and hit submit, you'll see it calls this other form that simply echoes out what I sent over. So all I'm trying to do is discover how this is sent from one page to the next using the GET protocol of the HTML page, right? So right here you'll see a question mark, first name equals Dave, last name equals Blair. Okay, so let's take a look at the code. I put a link back to my home here. Okay, let's go over here. This is the order form. It's very simple. And you'll do this sort of thing quite often during the semester. So here I have an action. In other words, when I hit this submit button right here, then I will call this form, that page, response.php using the method of type get. That means it attaches all of the keywords, key value pairs, to the address, the URL, and sends it to the server. Well, what are my key value pairs? Well, you could think of it as a variable, first name and last name, and notice that is camel case, and then whatever's typed into the value on the page, then that's what will be sent. All right, the size is not necessarily necessary here, but the max length is something I want you to use to prevent the user from being able to put in an unlimited number of characters and send it to the server. So here we just have two fields, two input fields. One, it's a first name, one's the last name, and a submit button, and that's it. All right, so when the submit button is clicked, it calls a response. So if I double click my response and look at it, then I'll see here just a plain HTML page all the way down to this PHP XML style tag. Okay, so that is what we'll use in this class. It's an open bracket, question mark PHP, and it ends down here with another question mark with a close angle bracket. And here inside we're doing plain PHP. We can embed HTML in it by echoing out an HTML request or an HTML element or tag, for example. And here I just simply do a var dump. In other words, all that does is take whatever is sent to it and sends it to the screen. Right. So here, that's important to note, that is the get array. It's a global array in PHP that holds all of the get variables. Okay, so anything I had in that form, so if I go back to my form, anything I have in my form that is a key value pair, right? All of these will show up at the server as under the get array, and inside I request that value by using the name of the variable. In this case it's first name, in this case it's last name. And notice the angle brackets that I'm using to get at them. So this is an array. We haven't really talked much about arrays, but there's a get array that's a global variable. There's also a post array that we'll use when we get to post methods. Okay, and that's really all there is to this. There is a CSS page that is linked in here, and that is here. This is not an HTML and CSS class. However, I want you to practice it and use your previous coursework in order to create a reasonably handsome display here. Okay, if I hit submit, there's nothing in first name and last name. And you'll see first name here is a string that's empty. So I didn't type anything in. Last is a string that's empty. Okay. So I'm not validating anything. I'm not asking it if there's something in that field or if what's in there is valid. Okay, we'll worry about that later on. We just got to get used to moving data from one form into another form and back again. Okay, so I click the home button, I'm back over here. All right, so that's all for now.